how are you? I hope you're doing great. We are going to start our last unit. It's unit 8 and it's called Don't Panic. Okay, so here you can see a picture, the photo, which was taken by Jimmy Chin. And there is a climber here. He's actually taking lots of risks. What do you think? How does he feel? Okay, yes, probably he's frightened, but Jimmy Chin says fear is everywhere. It is always there. You just need to know how to manage it. So here on page 128 and 129 you have a picture of the wildfire. So we're going to talk about the natural disasters here. Okay, what happens during each of the disasters? Let's listen, read and find out.
Unit 8, Activity 1. Listen and read.
In March 2015, a terrifying wildfire went through Cape Town, South Africa. It was moving 65 kilometers in a single day and destroying everything in its path. We couldn't breathe because of the smoke and we couldn't escape, said one Cape Town resident. Wildfires can start in forests or on open land, and the flames spread very quickly. Sometimes they start because the weather is hot and dry, but mostly humans cause wildfires. We can prevent them by carefully controlling campfires and other outdoor fires. Other natural disasters are impossible to prevent. A hurricane, also called a typhoon or a cyclone, is a rotating tropical storm that starts over the sea. When Typhoon Haiyan struck the Philippines and Vietnam in 2013, the winds reached over 100 kilometers per hour and caused massive destruction. 6,000 people were killed and more than 2 million had to leave their homes. Today, we can accurately predict these storms, and if we pay attention to severe weather warnings, we can prepare for them. Unlike a storm, an earthquake is usually completely unexpected. A huge earthquake hit Pakistan in October 2015. The ground was shaking, said one Islamabad resident, who was at work at the time. But worse than that was the sound of the earthquake. It was a horrible noise. Earthquakes usually don't last more than a minute, but their effects can be terrible. Buildings collapse, and this can sometimes cause fires and floods. It can be very difficult to find survivors in the damaged areas. These are just 3 examples of how powerful and deadly nature can be. But humans have the resources to handle these disasters. We can use technology to make predictions, take practical steps to make our environment safer, and work together when things go wrong.
Okay, so during this year there have been lots of such disasters on the planet, right? Let's take a look at page 130. Here you have a picture of that photographer, of Jimmy Chin. And he works, of course, for National Geographic. Now, here in activity 4, you have words given in the box above and the text with blanks in it. So it means that at home you have to make your own word list from the text that you've just listened. But for now, let's take a look at this activity. So here are our words. Breathe. You know what breathe is when we inhale air, blow it out. Carefully. Disaster, escape, shake, strike, survivor, terrible, warning, and wildfire. So most of these words are already known by you, that's why I'm not concentrating your attention on them. Just pause the video, try to complete the activity on your own, then we will review your answers together. Okay, I think you're ready, so let's just continue with checking your answers. So the first word here can happen anywhere and at any time. So there is a subject missing here. It had to be noun. So the word we're looking for is disasters, yes. We're using plural here. Be careful. Because in instructions it directly says that you can make any necessary change. But for adventurers like National Geographic photographer Jimmy Chin, danger is part of daily life. Jimmy has to be ready to act when things go wrong. In 2008, Jimmy and two friends went on an expedition to Meru, one of the most difficult mountains to climb in Himalayas. But although they prepared very blah blah for expedition, prepared is a verb, so I need a word that describes my action verb. Yes, carefully. The weather was, I need an adjective there, which means awful. Yes, terrible. Okay. Just 100 meters from the top of the mountain, they had to turn back. In the same year, Jimmy nearly died after an avalanche. Yes, it is tried, but I need to use it and in past form while he was skiing. So I'm using normal past simple here, or verb to, and it is struck. Yes. Hundreds of tons of snow fell without warning. The force of snow covering his body made it difficult for him to breathe, yes. Avalanches of this size rarely have survivors, yes. Because lots of people are dying being struck by it. Okay. And Jimmy was very lucky to, from the snow, escape from the snow. Amazingly, just a few months later, Jimmy and his friends again attempted to climb Meru. This time they were successful. So I will enlarge in a while, so you can check your answers, compare them to those which are on board. Okay. Here, in next activity, you have 4 words or phrases in the box and definitions. First, let's listen to them.
Activity 5. Listen to these words and match them to the definitions. How can we be prepared for a natural disaster like a cyclone, a wildfire, or an earthquake? Weather forecasters can usually predict a cyclone. You should always pay attention to any warnings about severe weather that you hear on TV. Of course, other disasters like earthquakes can be completely unexpected, but you can always be prepared for an emergency. Keep supplies of food, water, and a first aid kit in a safe place. Make sure you have basic equipment, like a fire extinguisher, to prevent any fires from spreading. If you're prepared for an emergency, you have a much better chance of survival.
Okay, so we've heard how they use these phrases and words in the context. Now let's try to match them. Now the first one here, say that something will happen. Yes, it's a predict. sudden or surprising, unexpected, wow. Notice or observe is to pay attention, so good. And the last one, the most difficult one, stop from happening is prevent. Okay, let's check them and you check in your books as well. Okay, here you have 3 activities. So discuss disasters, natural disasters in our Zoom lesson. That's why just take some notes and get prepared for answering those questions. But now let's take a look at page 131. Now, when we are telling a story to anyone, how do the audience or whom am I speaking to show the interest? They're using some phrases that show their reaction. Okay, so let's hear phrases for telling a story. You actually know them, those steps, and those that show that I'm interested in a topic.
Speaking strategy. Telling a story and showing interest. First of all, there was this terrible noise outside. Wow, I bet that was scary. The next thing I knew, the ground started to shake. So what happened then? Suddenly all the books fell off the bookshelves. No way! What did you do?
Okay, so for telling a story, they are describing the steps. So remember we use them for writing. Like, first of all, that's how we start telling. Now we may continue with the next thing I knew. And when you come to a peak of your story, you might say suddenly and continue with the rest. Now, to show interest, in this example, they used, well, I bet that was scary. So what happens then, as I'm trying to hear the rest of the story? No way, what did you do? So this surprised me and made me interested. That's why I'm curious about the actions that being taken. Now, let's listen one more time and note how the speakers tell and show interest in this story.
Activity 1. Listen. How do the speakers tell and show interest in the story? Write the words and phrases you hear.
Hi, Chen. How was your holiday? You visited your aunt, didn't you?
Yeah, it was quite frightening actually. There was a really big typhoon.
Wow. I bet that was scary.
Yes, it was. First of all, there was a warning on the radio. We were trying to get back to my aunt's house in time. Suddenly, the wind got really strong and we saw big waves of water coming up the street.
So what happened then?
We ran really fast and made it to the house. She closed the doors and windows and turned off the electricity. The next thing we knew, one of the windows broke and water started coming into the house.
No way. What did you do?
We ran upstairs to my aunt's bedroom on the top floor. We stayed there for 6 hours.
6 hours?
Yes, but we were all safe. We lit a candle and played cards. After a while, the typhoon weakened. When it was safe, we went back downstairs to see the damage. Then we started to clean up.
Okay, let's listen one more time. This time, try to write down the phrases that you can catch. Can you do it? Okay, let's go.
Activity 1. Listen. How do the speakers tell and show interest in the story?
Write the words and phrases you hear. Hi, Chen. How was your holiday? You visited your aunt, didn't you?
Yeah, it was quite frightening actually. There was a really big typhoon.
Wow, I bet that was scary.
Yes, it was. First of all, there was a warning on the radio. We were trying to get back to my aunt's house in time. Suddenly, the wind got really strong and we saw big waves of water coming up the street.
So what happened then?
We ran really fast and made it to the house. She closed the doors and windows and turned off the electricity. The next thing we knew, one of the windows broke and water started coming into the house.
No way! What did you do?
We ran upstairs to my aunt's bedroom on the top floor. We stayed there for 6 hours.
6 hours?
Yes, but we were all safe. We lit a candle and played cards. After a while, the typhoon weakened. When it was safe, we went back downstairs to see the damage. Then we started to clean up.
Okay, so actually they used all these phrases, like first of all, the next thing, suddenly, well, I bet it was scary, so what happened that, and no way. So here you have another example for a dialogue. You should use these phrases to complete it. I will enlarge, okay, I cannot enlarge, yes. Try to complete it on your own, then we will review your answers together. Remember that who is telling a story has to use the left column, and if you are answering or showing interest, then you are using phrases from the right side. Okay, so I'll pause the video. I think 2 minutes even will be enough for you to complete it. Okay, if you're ready, let's check. Now, we're starting a conversation with Emilia's words. She says, did I ever tell you about the earthquake last year? No, you didn't. But it was when we lived in Chile. It was about 8 o'clock in the evening. First of all, that's because she's starting her story, I felt the ground start to move. No way, what did you do? My mom and dad and I all got under the table. The walls were shaking and then suddenly all the lights went out. Wow, I bet that was scary. Yes, it was. Then the next thing I knew, a bookcase fell onto the floor right next to me. So what happened then? Was everyone okay? The shaking continued for about 3 minutes, but everyone was okay. So this is kind of short conversation. We could extend it a bit more, but just remember that you can use these phrases to make your opponent say that you are interested in what he is or she is saying. Okay, so for today this is it. Remember to make your own word list. Okay, stay safe.